So, hello there everyone and welcome, it is Niran here, and today it is time for yet another FIFA 17 career mode video on this channel. It's been quite some time, isn't it? We're back plunging into the world of experiments for today, and we've got a pretty similar theme to the one we did last time, and from the title you'll have seen that this is going to be the best under 20 team, although I suppose technically it's the under 19s team because there are some 19-year-old players here as well. Basically anyone who's under the age of 20 is in this side, and it's the best players of that style on this game, and there's some very good players here. I'll show you through the team in a second. We're using Newcastle because I've done them a massive misjustice as we've gone through these experiment videos. I accidentally said that Brighton had won the title in an experiment video recently, and then they bottled it, but I didn't realise they hadn't won it yet. So I've done a massive disservice to Newcastle, and I apologise for my lack of footballing knowledge in the championship there. That's not the point though, realistically, of this video. We're going to get into the squad that we've got, and it is a very, very good one. I'll just run you through it very quickly. In goal, we've got the 80 rated AC Milan goalkeeper, Ginaluigi Donnarumma. The defence is probably the weakest part, to be honest with you, but two solid centre-backs in the shape of the Spanish pairing being Vallejo and Jorge Mere. Then the left back is Theo Hernandez, and the right back here is Benjamin Henrichs from Bayer Leverkusen. We've got Ousmane Dembele on the right hand side of Borussia Dortmund. The defensive midfielders are Tielemans and Sanchez, with Oyarzabal of Sociedad on the left hand side, and then Dani Ceballos playing in the attacking role, although all three of the centre mids will just play in a central role when I've changed the formation. And then up front is Gabriel Jesus. More players as well on the bench and in the reserves, and again some ridiculous talent and potential here on show. Alban Lafont, Issa Diop, those two are teammates of course at Toulouse. We've got Onyinye and Didi, Kylian Mbappe, Lottin, who's making a massive impression on world football at the moment. Marcus Rashford, of course, similarly, although did that last year, really. Nadim Amiri, Malcolm from Bordeaux, Diakabe from Lyon, Malang Sarr of OGC Nice, Diawara from Bologna. I think, is it Bologna or it might be Cagliari? I think it's Bologna. No, it's Cagliari. I'm not entirely sure. One of those two teams. Kasper Dolberg from Ajax. And we've got Christian Pulisic, Braille Donald Embolo, and someone that you guys may know very well if you've been on this channel for a while. And that is Leon Bailey from Bayer Leverkusen. So the challenge here really for this one is to see how this team of youngsters and ridiculously high potential players, the future Wonderkids of world football, the challenge is to see how well they'll do in the Premier League. And again, just in case you've forgotten, here are the sides in the background. Once again, the team we're using was swapped in for Sunderland, who dropped to the Championship, and obviously these guys will be representing Newcastle, and we will see what type of points tally they can pick up in this Premier League season. We'll also check out the stats and see how each and all the players did in terms of goals and assists at the end after we've checked out the table. If you do go on to enjoy this video though, make sure to slap a like on it, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and yeah, let's just get into things. Alright, so we're now simming to the end of the season to see how these guys do in the experiment. Obviously one thing as well, you'll have seen the ratings of the players, but their ratings are going to grow pretty exponentially across the season because they're all so young. So in stark contrast to the last experiment we did where we were using old players who decreased across the season, these guys are going to increase in quality as the season progresses. So the squad will naturally get better towards the end of the season, which might see results pick up towards the end of the season. So we've arrived at the end of the season, and this is how the league is looking, and it's a strange one. I suppose it is a strange one in fairness, given what's happening in real life at the moment. I'm sorry Arsenal fans for saying that, but Arsenal have won the league with 80 points. That's a pretty low tally in fairness. United second, Chelsea third, Spurs fourth, Liverpool fifth. We don't really care too much about that. We care where the under 19s team has finished, and it is 14th in the league, so very much mid-table and quite some distance away as well from the top 10, 12 points away from being in the top half of the table. Closer toward, actually no, further away from relegation in fairness than the top 10. They were comfortably away from relegation, a good 12 points away from that as well, so exactly the same distance, equidistant from relegation as they were to the top half of the table, which I suppose is fair enough. That's a decent finish. With the team was only 4.5 stars, so I suppose you wouldn't expect it to do too much better. Maybe challenge for the top 10, so they've underachieved ever so slightly. 45 points as a total, 0 goal difference, scoring exactly the same amount of goals as they conceded. I do genuinely think the defence will have let that team down, because there were a few 74 rated fullbacks and that certainly isn't an overall really high enough to be playing in the Premier League in the first season. Maybe in the second season this team would potentially fight for Europe, but I'm not entirely sure. Nevertheless, 14th is the finishing place. Swansea, Burnley and Middlesbrough were relegated in the end. We'll take a look then at how they did in terms of goals and assists this side. So for the second experiment in a row, Eden Hazard is the top scorer, but not by as much this time. Leroy Sané is joint with him. Looking for some of the young players from our experiment, and none of them feature at all in the top 25, the top scorers list, which I suppose is understandable. We did only finish 14th in the league, so we're not guaranteed really to feature there, although there's 4 Watford players in the top 25, which is a bit mental for them. In terms of assists, we've got 2 players in the top 7, Nadiem Amiri and Oyarzabal. I can't really pronounce that name. I'm really terrible with pronouncing Basque names. But the Sociedad winger getting 7 assists as well. Coutinho, though, the top assist maker in the league overall, and then no other under-19 players in terms of the Newcastle squad featuring in the top 25. When it comes to clean sheets, though, not a single of our under-19 players in the top 15, although I assume they'll have shared out the games because they're quite equal in terms of quality. Alban Lafont, the Frenchman, seemed to get the nod in terms of the goal-keeping position, getting 5 clean sheets across the season, and Ginaluigi Donnarumma, the Italian from AC Milan, also got a total of 3. Here is how the squad is looking in terms of the ratings. I'll have a little comparison on the right-hand side so that you guys can check it out, but from memory it looks as if Donnarumma has gone up by 2, Henriks and Hernandez, the 2 fullbacks, have gone up by 3, I believe. Sanchez up by 1, Tielemans up by 2, Dembele up by 2, and Jesus has gone up by 2 as well. I apologise if I've got anything wrong in terms of, because I'm doing that based off memory, but I'm pretty sure that is correct. Onto the bench as well, and you can see that Lafont here has gone up by 2, Mbappe has gone up by 2, Rashford up by 2. So the general consensus really is that most players have gone up by a +2 rating across the season. I think apart from Pulisic, I can't quite remember, he might have gone up by 2 as well. Diakabe's only gone up by 1, same for Malang Sarr, so they've dropped off a little bit, and Nadiem Amiri's only gone up by 1 as well. But decent growth across the team. It certainly got better as the season progressed, and maybe they were in trouble of relegation at the start of the season, I'm not entirely sure, but they may have then pulled away, given the squad got so much better by the end. Right, you know what? I love you lot a lot. That sentence structure was poor, but you get what I mean. So I've done something extra. We've simmed to the end of Season 2, and this is how it's ended up. It is definitely a top 10 charge in the second season, a completely different story to how the team did in the sim in Season 1. 14th place and 12 points away from the top 10. This time the team of what was under 19s and is now under 20s at this point in the career mode save gets a Europa League spot in 5th position, 9 points in fairness away from the top 4. It was a comfortable distance away from Champions League football, but still a very good season from some very, very young players. Once again, Arsenal won the league from Chelsea, I think Chelsea came second in the first season as well. Spurs second, City third, but Newcastle United, with that team of under-19s, the likes of Donnarumma, Ousmane Dembele, Gabriel Jesus and Mbappe Lottin, takes 5th place in the league, having increased in overall even more than they did between Season 1 and Season 2. I won't go into too much detail in terms of the stats because I know this video is probably getting a little bit lengthy, but here is the team at the end of Season 2, and on the right hand side is the comparison as to how it was when we started this experiment. You can see there's some real standout players now in terms of overall. We've got Ousmane Dembele, who's now 86, Ginaluigi Donnarumma in between the sticks is now 84, same as Gabriel Jesus. Tielemans is now 83, and there's only 2 players that haven't reached 80 overall in the starting 11. That's the 2 fullbacks who are 79 rated anyway, so they might as well be 80. Realistically, they're very close to that tally. We've also got some more players down here. A few players actually returned from loan for Newcastle. Hopefully they didn't get in the way of the experiment too much, although I'm pretty sure they're all worse than the players in the squad anyway. We've got Alban Lafont here, Issa Diop, who's actually injured at this point, Onyinye and Didi, Mbappe Lottin, Marcus Rashford, Kasper Dolberg and Malcolm, and then the rest of the players here in the reserves. So that is going to wrap up this experiment. We've simmed 2 seasons instead of 1 season. with this team. We've seen how a team of under-19s or under-20s will do in the Premier League, in not only Season 1, but in Season 2 as well. A comfortable mid-table finish in Season 1 and a comfortable European spot in the second season. A big jump with these players who have grown massively in terms of overall since we started this experiment. But I hope you have enjoyed this one. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new to the channel as well, and if you've got any suggestions for experiments to do in the comment section, then do make sure to drop them below. I know things are starting to die out a little bit when it comes to FIFA in certain respects, so you guys may not want to see these anymore. Drop that in the comment section as well. Do you want to keep seeing experiment videos, or do you want me to turn my attention to a different type of series or video? Leave that below. I love to get your feedback on these types of things, because after all, you guys are the ones watching. You can also now follow me on Twitter. My handle will be on the screen. It is @theofficialfng, and links to it are in the description. But it has been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.
Come to the babe looking like gold medalist with Kurt Angle boots on. And I don't wear the boot on, but they got normal shoes on. You're the like yo with the shoe from. Get them to the yo Uncle Jar. I ain't got a flex on no one. I'm the original Don. Come to the babe looking like gold medalist with Kurt Angle boots on. And I don't wear the